Hey everybody, I want to talk about something that I've tried about 6 times to make a video about, and something always happens. My phone runs out of memory or a phone call comes in. I wanted to get this in yesterday, but I suppose a day after is not going to matter, a week or two from now. I want to talk about a particularly devastating form of manipulation that I've talked about before on this channel. We saw it in a very much of a live performance yesterday. Yesterday was the day that Michael Cohen, whatever your opinion of him may be, went back to Congress to re-testify after lying, to set the record straight on some lies and talk some more. And there really wasn't a whole lot of new information that came to light, except for really just more the salacious details that of how Trump behaves behind closed doors. Stuff like, well, you know, he's a racist, he talks shit, he says things like shithole countries, etc., etc., etc. So pretty much what we knew. But some of the more pointed questions that came had a very interesting response from Michael Cohen. And it's very indicative of a manipulation tactic called insinuation. And we all know what it means to insinuate something. It's like, what are you insinuating, right? It's something we're all familiar with, but there's a difference between making an insinuatory statement, insinuating statement, whatever the proper English is. But as a manipulation tactic, it is especially effective and destructive, as we can see with Michael Cohen. So, first of all, Michael Cohen's not exactly an innocent guy. He's not exactly an honest guy. He's not exactly a straight arrow. Because, quite frankly, if you're in the office adjoining Donald Trump, you're not, you know, a freaking priest, you know. Not that great of a guy. But in one of his statements that he made, and a lot of his statements, and a recurring theme of his statements, he kept saying things like, so for example, they asked him directly, did Donald Trump instruct you to lie to Congress at the last hearing? And his response was, no, he did not tell me to lie to Congress. Not directly, because that's not how Donald Trump operates. Donald Trump speaks in code. And so he made these coded statements, which I interpreted to be that he wanted me to lie. So what does that mean? Speaking in code. It's not like he's speaking pig Latin like Esheai come I ute ile ute angreske umaro te. No, that's not what that means. What it means is when you insinuate something, it means you're communicating what you want to somebody, but ultimately leaving it up to them to interpret and to interpret what you've said and make their own choices and take their own actions. So I'll give you a layman example. If you're in a jewelry store, whether you're the guy or the girl, but let's say a man and woman go into a jewelry store. The woman picks up a ring, a nice shiny diamond ring, and she shows her husband. She says, look, honey, isn't this ring beautiful? And he's like, yeah, it looks good. And she's like, I think it looks really good on my finger. Yes, it does. Man, I really like this ring. I really like how it looks on my hand. Good, sweetie. She's insinuating she wants the ring. She hasn't directly come out and said, I would like this ring if it fits within our finances and our budget. I would like for us to make this purchase. No. What she does is she just says, oh, I like this ring. It's really pretty on my hand. And she'll keep saying it and saying it and saying it until he gives the correct response. And children tend to do this too. Whenever you're asking a kid what they did wrong, you know, and they don't know what they did, you're like, okay, so what did you do? Why did you do this? And they just try to guess the right answer, you know. That's insinuation. What happens if the guy says, yeah, but we really can't afford that ring right now. I mean, I already bought you like 12 rings. We really don't need another one. We got too much ring debt as it is, and this is on a store card, right? Holy hell, if any man were that stupid. But you know, if he says, you know, sorry, sweetie, yeah, it's a pretty ring, but we can't afford it. Now, she might do one of two things. She might say, yeah, you're right, I know. It would be nice. But then there's the other type of person, the manipulative kind of person, the one who will kick it back on you. And this is where the manipulation tactic comes in. Okay, so up until now it's just been hinting and insinuating, but to switch gears to the full-on legit manipulation tactic comes here. If she says, well, I wasn't asking you to buy it, I know our financial situation. Just because I pick something out and want to look at it for a minute doesn't mean I'm commanding you to buy it or want it, right? I'm just over here looking at the jewelry. I wasn't even thinking about money, right? And then vice versa, if you know, like later on when the guy goes to like try and tell somebody about it, they'll be like, yeah, we went to the jewelry store, she got mad at me because I told her that we couldn't afford the ring on her finger. It was like a $40,000 ring. I could, you know, buy a really, really nice minivan for that much money. And she just all flipped out on me, saying that she wasn't even thinking about buying it. It's like, well, why put it on your finger and go into a jewelry store, right? Because people don't really do that with stuff that they're not interested in, you know? I don't just randomly go into greeting card stores to look for greeting cards and get well cards for when I have no friends that are sick, right? That doesn't make any sense. Why in the hell would you go into the Hallmark store and look at get better soon cards? Like, oh, do you have a friend that's sick? What? No, all my friends are healthy. I just like the way the card looks in my hand, right? That's pretty strange. And that's how insinuation works. It works by putting somebody into a scenario that, for fact's sake, doesn't make sense, but still makes you look like the asshole, like with the ring. So with the Michael Cohen testimonies, he's saying, no, Trump didn't tell me to lie directly. That's not how he operates. He speaks in code. Here's the problem, is the fact that Michael Cohen is the one going to jail because at the end of the day, he was not told to lie. He wasn't told to lie. He made that choice all on his own. And for what? Right? And you can see this with other, like for instance with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, when it came out that she went to go speak to Robert Mueller. And before she went to go interview with Robert Mueller, she had a meeting with Trump. And people say, well, what was it that Trump said to you? And she says, Trump encouraged me to cooperate fully and answer the questions honestly and completely. Right? So, whether or not it was an insinuating tactic on his part, you can't tell. Because the thing is, the meaning of an insinuated statement is, the interpretation is completely up to the other party. Right? An insinuated statement is something that's put out there that has no gravity, no weight, no consequence, and it's left to the other person to make their own free choice based on it. And that's how you can get what you want and do bad things without it coming back to you, right? A clever woman or a clever man, a clever anybody in a relationship will know this. When you keep insinuating the things you want, you know, like the case of the woman in the ring. She gets a ring. Oh, well, next thing, let's go look at cars. Or, you know, we go to the grocery store and we walk by this car. She's going to say, ooh, I really love these 4Runners. You know, ooh, I really love this Land Rover. I really like these Land Rovers. Like, you know, I've always wanted to go on a road trip. You know, I've always wanted to go on a really long road trip in a brand new Land Rover. You know, they make these insinuating statements constantly, and where they gaslight you and make you crazy is whenever you say no, they immediately go into covering their tracks mode. Like, I wasn't even asking that. I wasn't doing that. No. They go into full-on defense mode and try to put it back up on you. On the other hand, when you buy it, whatever it is that they want, or whenever it is, you know, whenever you do whatever it is that they wanted you to do, it's all your fault. I didn't tell you to do that. You did that all on your own. I didn't tell you to buy the ring. You're the one, it's your money, you make your own choices. If you couldn't afford to buy the ring, you shouldn't have bought it. I didn't tell you to buy it. Right? See how that works? I didn't tell Michael Cohen to go lie to Congress. I told him to cooperate fully and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I told Sarah Huckabee Sanders, cooperate fully with Robert Mueller. Cooperate fully, answer all your questions honestly, and cooperate. And here's the thing, because whether or not there's insinuation there, and I'll say I'm conservative, I'm libertarian, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a fan of Trump, certainly not a fan of Hillary Clinton either. Nancy Pelosi looks like Momo. If you don't know what Momo is, look up the Momo challenge. Nancy Pelosi is like Momo of the House. I'm not a fan. Ron Paul's my guy. Ron Paul 2012, I'm still hanging in there. You know, here's the thing. He's saying, like when somebody says, go, cooperate fully, answer the questions fully, completely, and honestly, Sarah Huckabee Sanders has a choice of whether or not to do that. And if that's what she does, that's what she does. If she goes and she lies, then you get exactly the situation with Michael Cohen. If Sarah Huckabee Sanders were to lie to Robert Mueller and get caught later, you might very well see a situation like this. And all Trump has ever said is, I told everybody to cooperate fully with the investigations, answer everything openly and honestly. Because when you live your life through insinuation, it almost always absolves you of any wrongdoing. Because insinuation puts the burden of decision-making and actions on others. I did a previous video talking about how manipulators are like a chess player and people are the chess pieces. That's how, with that layer of insinuation, that's how they insulate themselves against wrongdoing. They speak in reverse psychology, and they leave a lot to people to interpret. And if people can't interpret your statements correctly, then you're fired, right? Because I'm not going to come out and say it. So, in any case, insinuation, watch the Michael Cohen hearings. I watched the full thing. It was the reoccurring theme all day. It was fascinating. So, thanks again for watching. Please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on the next video.